So when we go to mark our board, the first thing that we're going to use our speed square to do is square the edge of our board. That means we are going to take the part of the speed square that has this little ledge on it, and we are going to hook our ledge over the edge of our board, and it's going to be in this case, the edge is going to be the long grain versus the short grain right here. And that's because the side that we want to make sure is square is going to be cross-cutting the board, because this is what is going to be getting chopped off in the chop saw. And that way, when we have a nice square board like this, if we want to use it for a stud, then it's going to be perpendicular to our bottom plate and it's going to sit flat, and then it's going to also stand up nice and plumb. So we can see here that this is rough sawn lumber, and so you can see the edge is not smooth at all. And then when we go to square our board, you can see that when I line up the corner of my speed square with the corner of the board, if I run my finger along it, you don't even need to run your finger along to be able to tell that the board on this side is sticking out. And that tells us that our board is not square. Square just means that there's a perfect 90-degree angle at that corner. So in this case, what I would do before I mark this board with a measurement, the first thing I would do is run this edge through the chop saw and get that off so that we end up with something closer to this, where now if I line up the corner of my speed square with the corner of my board, and then I run my finger along it, it should be pretty close to flush. So now we have a nice square board, and this is going to be the edge that we measure from to get our measurement. We went over taking a measurement in the tape measure video. So if we want to measure 6 inches, we're going to make our caret. And then what I'm going to do is, this is the length that I want my final cut to be, which means that the rest of this board is waist. So on the waist side of my caret, I'm going to draw a nice big X. And that is going to be important later when we get to making this cut, because there's a concept called keeping the line, which we will go over in the chop saw video. But for now, we just want to make sure that we mark the X on the waist side of our board so that we're not confused later. So now we're going to go back to our speed square. We're going to hook our ledge over our edge, make sure it's nice and tight. I'm going to bring my pencil tip down to the point of my caret, and then I'm going to bring my speed square to my pencil. That is very important, because if I put my speed square down first and I estimate where my pencil is going to land, again, I might land right where I want to be. I might land a little bit off and not realize it. And this is going to play into the accumulated error that has been a running theme since we started sharpening our pencil. So to minimize our accumulated error, we are going to put our pencil point down at the point of our caret, bring our speed square to our pencil, and if you notice, the pencil is angled into the corner that is being made from the speed square and the board. And that's also important, because if I'm standing up like this, again, I might end up a little outside of my line, and that is also going to play into accumulated error. So now that I have my speed square in place and I have it firmly clamped down on the board so it's not going to go anywhere, I can go ahead and score my line. And that is how we mark a board.